Hello, rich ones. Welcome to our space. And most importantly, welcome to season 2 of the Hot Money Talks podcast. After an incredible first season, we are back here again to learn more on how to win with our finances. Thank you for over 1,000 streams in season 1. And I look forward to us tripling this number in season 2. Deal? I bet your answer is yes. And so, thank you already. My name is Christine, the money mechanic, and I help you fix your finances. I am on a mission to equip Africa's younger population with adequate financial literacy, advice, and strategy so they can journey to financial freedom and live life purposefully on their own terms and to the fullest, because money is no more a barrier. I want you to live your best life. The Hot Money Talks podcast is a series of honest, open, and transparent money conversations that will guide you on your journey to financial freedom. Here on the podcast, we believe 100% that financial freedom is possible with the right set of knowledge, the right amount of time, and the right circle of people. Now, before we go ahead with today's episode, let me share some interesting life updates with you. I published a book, guys. A whole book. You need to experience the feeling of holding your book in your hands. It is amazing. Well, I wrote a book called My Money Book, and it is a 12-month personal finance journal for you. And basically, this journal helps you to set, track, and crush your money goals for 12 months. And the gist gets better. I sold 100 copies in 30 days. I should probably write another book on how I did that, right? Anyways, on to another set of life updates. 2 of my friends got married to each other. And I was a chief bridesmaid for the very first time in my life. It was an interesting experience and I enjoyed it. Shout out to Frizzle and Stephanie. Happy married life, guys. I traveled to my hometown, Benue State, early in the year. Actually, on the very first day of January, to speak at Jumpstart 2024. And I was incredibly humbled and honored to be able to go back home and do something meaningful, for the young people there. I met super amazing people, super amazing entrepreneurs, people doing amazing things during my trip, and I cannot wait for Jumpstart 2025. Shout out to the team for putting this incredible event together. Now, I could go on and on because already it's been an incredible year for me, but let me pull the brakes on the gist. Let's get right into today's discussion. Today being our very first episode, not just in season 2, but in 2024, I think it is more than appropriate to talk about how to create a roadmap for your finances this year. This is what we would popularly refer to as financial planning. Today, we will learn about what it is, why it is important, and how to get it done by ourselves and for ourselves. Now, shall we? All right. What is financial planning? Simply put, financial planning could be said to be the process of creating a plan for the success of your finances. Now, according to Kevin Voigt, a financial plan creates a roadmap for your money and helps you achieve your goals. Now, it is a popular saying, right, that a goal without a plan is just a wish. This is why it is important to have a plan for your finances. It is not just enough to wish upon yourself riches, wealth, and enjoyment. You've got to work to achieve that. Now, a financial plan is usually threefold, right? Has 3 parts. The very first part is where your finances currently are. Right? So where are you on your journey, right? Then the second part is your money goals. That's the second part of your financial plan. And the final part is your strategies to achieving those goals. Now, a good financial plan will contain details about your streams of income, your cash flow, right? Savings, debts, investments, and other parts of your financial life. Now, I'd like to state here that financial planning is not just for the rich and wealthy. Now, when you think like this, you're depriving yourself of actually getting it right with your finances, right? Planning for your financial future should be something that everyone engages in. And you can choose to do this on your own or with the help of a professional. But I'm hopeful that after listening to today's episode, you would have a more clearer idea on how to set your financial goals. Mind you, don't think that because we're already in February, it's too late to set financial goals. No, you determine, right, when your new year actually begins. Yeah. Someone told me that, earlier this year, and I was like amazed when I heard that. So yes, I'm telling it to you. You determine when your new year begins. And today is not a bad day to begin afresh. So even if you hadn't set, financial goals and you may have given up and you're like, oh, January is over, there's no point. It is not over until it is over. And so today is still a good day to set financial goals. Now, why is financial planning important? I think the very first reason why it is important is because money affects every area of your life. Every area, right? The kind of food you eat, the kind of clothes you wear, your standard of living, the kind of education you get, the kind of healthcare you can access, so many other things, right, is affected by money. I always make this joke and say, if you're in church and the pastor says, put your hand in your pocket and bring out a quality offering for the Lord. The truth is, if you have no money, where you go come out quality offering from? But yeah, you get my point, right? Money affects every area of your life. Secondly, financial planning is important because money is often the cause of most of our problems and the solution to it. Thirdly, financial planning allows you to take charge of your finances so that you can be intentional about its growth. And also with financial planning, you're able to grow your assets and meet your future goals. Financial planning is important because it is the how of your journey to financial freedom. It is the how, the roadmap. Remember the roadmap. So if you want to take a trip somewhere and you've never been there before, the most likely thing you will do is take a map with you. And if you can't read, a map on paper, there's Google Maps, right? And the reason you'd use Google Maps is because you don't want to lose your way, right? You know where you want to get to, but you need something or someone that knows the actual path, that understands the process. That is what financial planning is. It is the process to getting to where you want to be, to getting to financial freedom. Okay? And of course, it is important because a goal without a plan is just a wish. You're just wishing your way. You cannot wish your way to financial freedom, right? You have to actually work your way to financial freedom. Okay? And finally, financial planning is important because man's mind is finite. And what does this mean? So I'd like to use this to just illustrate what I mean. So how, for those listening, if you believe in God, right? You know how when you think about God, you try to understand him, but you can't because he's just too much to grasp. It's like, oh my God. You begin to ask questions like, who is God's father? When we're growing up, you ask questions like, who is God's father? Who gave birth to God? Questions like that. Why? Because you can't grasp, you can't grasp his awesomeness, right? Because our mind is limited, right? We want to try to understand and figure things out. Now, because man's mind is finite, right? It means that we understand times and seasons, right? You can, if somebody talks about 1 year, you can imagine 1 year, right? You can imagine 1 week, 24 hours, right? We like to put things in segments, right? Now, financial planning helps you to do that, right? When you talk about like short-term goals, long-term goals, you can imagine, you can wrap your head at least around what a year looks like, what 12 months looks like, right? So, financial planning. Now, the first thing you must understand about financial planning is that you must be ready to set SMART goals when you want to, work on your financial plan. And what are SMART goals? SMART is an acronym actually. And S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable or attainable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound or timely, however you'd like to, call it. Now, the idea is that for whatever goal you are setting for your finances in this year and beyond, it has to meet the SMART criteria, right? So when you say things like, my goal this year is to be rich, you aren't setting a SMART goal. When you say things like, my goal this year is to blow, and then I want to ask, you want to blow like a bomb? Or like knockouts? Anyways, that aside, right? Those are not SMART goals because they have no actionable part of them. A goal that is SMART should spur you to take action. It should always have the how. It's not just the what. It should have the how. Okay? Now, let's now go into what actually goes into financial planning. We already talked about the threefold part of it, right? So the first thing is you must know where you are currently. So where are you, right? What is your net worth? What are your assets? What are your liabilities, right? Who do you owe? What do you own, right? You need to know where you are at. You can't get to somewhere without acknowledging where you are first, right? So where are you? Are you in debt? Okay, where are you? Do you have any savings? What is the color of your problem? Let me say it like that. You should be able to know and identify where you are on your journey, and then you can now know where you're going to. Now, when you determine where you are now, you now begin to set goals, right? And we said your goals have to span across saving, debts, budgeting, income, and of course, investing, right? So the very first part of your financial plan is planning for emergencies and goals. This is where we talk about saving, right? And I want us to have the mindset that saving is not just for emergencies. Don't carry around the mindset that you are saving money only to solve problems, right? You should have the mindset that yes, in as much as you are saving for emergencies, you are also saving to hit your goals, right? So there are things you want to achieve in life. You want to further your education, you want to travel, you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, right? You want to expand your business. Those are actually life goals, right? And so saving helps you to also attain or achieve those goals. So as you save, your goals your saving rather should be for both emergencies and for goals. Now, when you're saving, your goals need to be SMART. And here are some questions that would help you set SMART goals. First of all, what am I saving for? You need to be able to identify. You don't just save because it's fun to save. And the truth is, when you save without a purpose, you would end up spending the money without a purpose. Simple. So what are you saving for? First question. Secondly, how much do I want to save? Thirdly, for how long do I want to save? Fourthly, at what interval and how much am I going to save per interval? So let's take a practical example. Let's say you want to pay for something. Let's say you want to buy, I'm trying to think about what you want to buy. Let's say you want to buy a gadget that is going to enhance your productivity, and that gadget costs 60,000 naira, right? Answers the first question. What am I saving from? I'm buying a gadget. Secondly, how much do I want to save? I want to save 60,000 naira. Third question, for how long? So let's say I want to achieve this goal in the first 6 months of 2024, right? So I say I want to save for 6 months. Finally, at what interval and how much per interval? So you could say, okay, 6 months. So 60,000 divided by 6. You could say, okay, I'm going to save 10,000 naira every month to achieve this goal of 60,000 naira. That is a SMART goal. When you set a goal like that, you now have what you are acting on. Now let's move on. I'd like to state here that when it comes to saving, it's not always about the amount. Yes, it's good to save in large amounts, but the truth is you should focus on the consistency and intentionality. So it doesn't matter how little the amount may be, focus on saving that little consistently, and you'll see that it adds up. Now, second thing you are to plan for is plan for your spending, right? This is where we talk about budgeting. This is where we talk about having a plan for your money. So in 2024, you need to move past the bad habits of spending without a plan, of spending compulsively, of spending because you just have money. No. We're not doing that in 2024. We're not agreeing for bad behavior. Okay, we are going to budget in 2024 because it's going to help us be more intentional and plan for our finances, right? So the key to budgeting is that you must know what your wants are and what your needs are. And as you set a plan for your finances, always remember to prioritize your needs. Now, there are different budgeting methods you can explore. I won't spend time talking about them today, but there's the 50 30 20 rule. There's the 75 15 10 rule. There's the zero-based budget. There's the envelope method. Now, these are just strategies that you can consider as, guiding strategies to budget. Now, another part of your financial plan this year should be to plan for your liabilities. This is where we talk about debt repayment. Debt as in DEBT. Now, you may not be in debt, and so glory to God, actually, that you're not in debt. It's not a good place to be, speaking from experience, right? But if you are starting off the year in debt, that's fine. What you now need to do is come up with an intentional plan on how you will pay back your debt. And here are some strategies on how to plan for your debt repayment. First things first, make a list of your debts. Who do you owe? How much do you owe them? Secondly, arrange this list in order of priority. So which debt has to be paid first and most importantly, right? Then set a deadline to pay each debt. Setting a deadline helps you to become more proactive about paying back this debt. Then, of course, draw up a smart plan to pay back, this debt, right? And this is where you now say, okay, this is how much I owe this person. This is the period of time I want to use to pay back this debt. And this is how I am going to raise the money, or this is how I am going to make the payments for this debt. Most importantly, when all is said and done, pinpoint the triggers that lead you into debt. This is very important. And I recently, put out content about this on my page. And I spoke about how debt has a root cause. It doesn't just stand on its own. There are often triggers that lead you into debt. You need to be able to identify what those triggers are and cut them off from the roots. If you don't do that, you keep falling into debt. Now, the next thing to plan for, or to put in your financial plan, is a plan for your income. Now, this is where you actually sit down, dive deep into your current streams of income. And this is where I say that if you have only one source of income, you are wrong. You need to expand your earning capability, right, to more than one source of income. So now you need to now think about, what am I earning from currently? Okay. What are the activities that bring income to me from this source? How much do I want to earn this year in gross income? How much do I want to earn monthly? And most importantly, how will I earn this amount? How will I earn this amount? So it is important that at the beginning of the year, you actually give yourself a target for your income. You should be able to tell yourself, this is how much I want to earn this year, and this is how I am going to earn this amount of money. Now, finally, plan for the future. This is where you drop a plan to invest. You must understand that your money should never be kept idle. It must be invested. And investing is the surest way to get to financial freedom. You can't save your way to financial freedom, right? Money that you save should actually be turned into money for investing, because investing is the way that you multiply the money. It is the structure you set in place, right, that keeps money flowing into your pocket. Now, you should have investment goals for 2024. However, why I'm talking about investing last is because you must have figured out the other parts of financial planning before you come to investing. So if you do not have savings, you have no business investing. If you have not learned how to use a budget, you don't have control over your finances, you have no business investing. If you are in debt, you have no business investing. Okay? If you don't have a source of income, you have no business investing, right? Investing comes at the end, because what you're trying to do is, when you make money, you spend money, you keep it, you now multiply it. That's the most important part. So your investment goals, right, should show what you want to invest in, okay, your knowledge, about that investment. Okay, how much you want to put into the investment. What is the expected ROI if it is an investment that, already states the ROI from the very beginning. How long are you going to be investing for? Of course. And if you understand the risk involved. Now, when we talk about the risk involved, it's two-way. Okay, it's a two-way street. First of all, you must understand your level of risk. That's what we call a risk profile. And I will do another episode on that, right? You need to know your risk profile. Then you also need to know the risk that investment also, involves. So is it a high risk investment? Is it a medium risk investment? Is it a low risk investment? So you match your risk profile to the risk of the investment, right? So for example, if you're a low risk taker, I will not advise you, especially as a first time investor, to invest in something that is high risk, okay? Because your tolerance for risk is still very, very low. Now, as you plan for investing this year, plan to also avoid Ponzi schemes. Yes, please. Plan to also avoid Ponzi schemes, okay? Because Ponzi schemes will only take money away from you, okay? So, now, one last thing that I would like to add to your financial plan is to plan for insurance. Now, I know this is a conversation that we need to have more, need to have more of, especially in the Nigerian African setting, where you hardly see people who believe in insurance. So, a fun fact was, I think in January because I promised myself that I would gift myself health insurance this year, and I did it on the 1st of February, and I feel so proud. I was telling my mom, I was like, oh, I want to get health insurance this year and I want to get for us and all of that. And then she just laughs and walks away. And I'm like, typical Nigerian parents. Oh my God. Because the typical Nigerian parent is like, I've been shot by the blood of Jesus. And I don't need insurance. But anyways, on a serious note, insurance should be a financial goal. Is a financial goal. It's an investment on its own, right? And what I'm learning, is that you insure what you value. So if you value your health, insure it, okay? Plus, to be honest, you actually spend way less than you'd actually spend when you have health insurance. Of course, there are other types of insurance. There's life insurance and other types of insurance. But you can start with the lowest hanging fruit, with health insurance. Last, when you even think about it, when you make all the money, you need to be healthy to actually chop life, Abby. So yeah, think of it as an investment into the future, into your future self. Now, we'll end today's episode by just talking about some common money mistakes we should avoid in 2024. First money mistake, not learning about your finances. Guys, knowledge will save your money and will also make you money. Facts. Like, it will save your money from Ponzi schemes and the likes, and it will also make you money, right? Another common money mistake we're avoiding this year is having no emergency fund. Another common money mistake we're avoiding is spending before we save. This year, we are going to be saving before we spend. We're also going to track our finances. We are not going to make the mistake of not tracking our finances. And this is why I tell you to get a copy of my money book. It will help you to do this very, very well in 2024. We are not making the mistake of forgetting our money goals this year. We're going to keep our money goals in sight. Can I hear an amen? Yes, we're going to keep our money goals in sight, and we're going to work diligently towards achieving them. Another money mistake we are avoiding this year is borrowing money without a refund plan. If you must borrow money, before you even collect the money, ensure you have a smart repayment plan already ready. Okay? And we are not making the mistake of investing without understanding the risks and the investment itself. We are not making that mistake this year. No way. Before we make investment decisions this year, we are going to first of all understand the investment. We're going to ask questions, and we are going to, make sure we dot all our I's and cross all our T's as much as possible before we make investment decisions this year. In conclusion, I would like to just remind us that if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. All right, people, thank you for listening. If you have listened to this point, then it means you have gotten value today, right? Great. So go ahead and share the link to this episode with someone you want to see win with their finances this year. Don't forget that new episodes of the Hot Money Talks podcast drop every Saturday, and you can listen to them on your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and now YouTube. Yes, we are now on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe and follow the show on either of these platforms so that you are notified whenever an episode is released. Recommendations are powerful, guys. So please tell your friends and family about this podcast so that we can go on this journey together. If you'd like to connect with me on other platforms, do well to follow The Money Mechanic at The Money Mechanic page on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I hope most importantly that you will take action on your finances today, not tomorrow, today. Sending you love, light, and a sprinkle of money in between. Cheers.